Week 11 is this Sunday, and the Patriots, thankfully, are coming off a huge win. So if you guys want the Patriots to keep this win streak, if you count one a streak, keep it going, well, then go ahead and do one thing for me and hit that like button. We've got some big injury news here on not just one, but two players from Jerod Mayo ahead of the Week 11 matchup here. While neither player is set to return for that matchup, it is actually trending a really good way for, I would say, at least one out of those two players. And, of course, I'm going to mention the defensive lineman, Christian Barmore. Jerod Mayo did give an update on Barmore here, and I'll break that down in just a moment. But just so you guys are up to date, he was diagnosed with blood clots on his 25th birthday way back in June. So even though the news that we did receive on Christian Barmore is good news, that's a long time to not be playing football. That's 6 months he has been recovering from this blood clot. But the Patriots obviously see a future with somebody like Christian Barmore. They signed him to a $92 million 4-year extension in April, obviously before that blood clot situation did happen. And he led New England in sacks last season with 8.5. Right now we have a team high. Dietrich Wise Jr. and Keon White are tied at 5 sacks apiece. So they're really missing Christian Barmore, especially on that pass rush front. But the good news is he could be coming back. Jerod Mayo, Barmore is ahead of Cole Strange. There is a chance that Barmore could practice either this week or next week. There is a chance that we get him back soon. Honestly, the thought of just getting Christian Barmore back in a Patriots uniform sometime this week is huge for the Patriots defense. There are a couple of steps Barmore is going to have to do before he does return to the game field, but the Patriots obviously have just been really plagued with the injury bug, especially on defense, knowing that Jawan Bentley, Kyle Duggar have been out. They lost Jabril Peppers to an arrest. They lost Matthew Judon to a trade, and they lost Josh Uche as well to a trade. So getting anybody back in the depth chart is going to be a big move. So what are the next steps for Barmore when he does finally decide to put those pads back on? When Barmore returns to practice, this will open his 21-day window before they have to activate him to the 53-man roster. And they can use all 21 days. The Carolina Panthers just activated Adam Thielen on that 21st day to the 53-man roster. So we still may have a couple of weeks before we possibly were to see Christian Barmore in a game for the Patriots. But even then, take a look here at the defensive line depth chart. You got Daniel Ekuale and Jeremiah Farms, who stepped in for Christian Barmore when he was diagnosed, going up against Devon Godchaux and Keon White. Obviously, O'Shane Ximines has also been a little bit injured here, and Dietrich Wise Jr., the linebacker who can play that 3-4 front. But Ekuale has actually done a kind of decent job stepping in for Barmore. Is he better than Barmore? No. But, he's still progressing. This was an opportunity for him to get that starting nod. That's exactly what he did. But in my opinion, he's not a starter. I think Christian Barmore still would come back in and be that guy, but a 65 overall PFF grade is not bad for Ekuale. His run defense is one of his strengths, which I'm okay with, but the pass rush, this is where Christian Barmore really excelled last year, especially with Matthew Judon only playing 4 games. So to have Barmore back, that would obviously increase a kind of weak point here for the defensive line, but you have to keep in mind, I would keep playing Ekuale. Do I think he's better than Barmore? No. That is 6 months, going on 7 months, without playing football. Barmore is not only rehabilitating his body, but now he's going to have to physically get back into shape or whatever kind of process he's been doing in those 6 months in order to come back into a defense that last week looked very good, had 9 sacks on the Chicago Bears offense. So while I do love Barmore, while this is great news, it may still be a little bit before Barmore does end up returning back to his original state of how great that he was. So, should Christian Barmore start when he returns? I'll let you guys make the call. Pretend to be Jerod Mayo. Type S for start or type W for wait. Keep playing Daniel Ekuale. See how that 3-4 front keeps establishing itself before you add back in. I mean, a really good asset. You can't be worse adding Christian Barmore, but if Ekuale can get the job done, why rush Barmore? All right, we're going to talk about Cole Strange here in just a moment. I know we've all been eagerly waiting to see what Cole Strange is going to do and when he's going to return. But before we do that, let me tell you guys real quick about our sponsor here on Patriots Today, and that's PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. If you guys want to join me and over 10 million active users who are playing PrizePicks right now, then go on ahead and download the app. You can actually get action on sports in over 30 different states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. And the best part is, it's so easy to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash, and you can run your game all season long, especially now that it's being crossover season. You've got several different sports and players, collegiate and professional, to choose from every single game day. So if you guys want to go on ahead and try out your hand at PrizePicks, it's super easy to do so. Obviously, these are my picks from a few days ago. I had Josh Hart having the more, I had Mayo, and I had Igor. And the way that I like to play PrizePicks here is I like to take the more. I get very superstitious. That's just how I play. Not always the best strategy in the world, but hey, I've won over 40 entries and I've won over $1,000 playing PrizePicks. So if you guys want to go on ahead and test out your skills, it's super easy to do so. Download the PrizePicks app, sign up today, and you're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup using code CLNS. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the PrizePicks app. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. Let's talk about Cole Strange. Get you guys up to date as well on what this player has been dealing with injury-wise, because obviously we drafted him in 2022. I don't think any of us realized that we would barely see Cole Strange play last season and then this season ahead. So he tore his patellar tendon in his left knee last season. That was a huge blow. But knowing that when we did draft him in 2022, he started in all 17 games as a rookie. So knowing that he has been dealing with this injury, if this is a hump that he can overcome and get back to possibly a 15 to 17 game stint, then I do think the Patriots would really benefit from that first-round draft pick. Not to mention, he can play multiple positions on the offensive line, which would be a great addition, knowing that we're really struggling at finding the best players on the right side. Dimitri Jacobs, he is not it. Not to mention, Mike Onwenu needs to go back on the outside at some point. The latest update here coming from Mike Reese said that Jerod Mayo said offensive lineman Cole Strange is not yet at the point where he's ready to practice. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We knew that his rehabilitation was taking as much time as it needed. But he wanted to reiterate here that Christian Barmore and Cole Strange are on 2 very different paths here. He is recovering from a patellar tendon that he ripped in his left knee, whereas Christian Barmore is coming back from a health concern, and that is blood clots. And blood clots is a whole different rehab. You have to take blood thinners, you have to elevate, you have to de-elevate. It's just a completely different process. So just because Cole Strange is behind Christian Barmore right now isn't a bad sign. This isn't going to say we're never going to see Strange again either. And even last week, we got a new update on Cole Strange from Mike Reese saying that the Patriots 2022 first-round pick is in the home stretch of his rehabilitation from a torn patellar tendon, and there have been no setbacks, according to a team source. So once again, if you're comparing him to Barmore, yes, he's behind Barmore's timeline. But in his own world, hearing no setbacks in home stretch is good enough for me. I, so far, have really enjoyed the left side of this offensive line more recently. Is this a forever setup? God, I hope not. Mike Jordan, he's done a good job. Verdarian Lowe, obviously the best option there at your blind side for Drake May, but the right side gives me heart palpitations. Onwenu needs to go back to his design spot at right tackle, and then you have Dimitri Jacobs as well, who just genuinely sucks. He lets everything come through every single week, and I just don't know how much longer I can take it. So having a player like Cole Strange come back in and he can play that center position, he can play the guard as well, and you can maybe switch him out to that right tackle, that would be a huge improvement to an offensive line. Honestly, it'd be game-changing. I don't know if that's going to come within week 12, 13, or maybe after the bye week, which I do believe our bye week is about week 15. So it could be a 1 or 2 game season for Cole Strange, but as long as he can recover in a healthy way, I would take a 1 and 2 game if that means that in the future we have a healthy Cole Strange. Same thing with Christian Barmore here. Obviously, we're not in the win category right now. We're not having a winning season, and I know that we're in a rebuild, so I would take a healthy Cole Strange over, forcing him back in a tighter window just to say that he returned. So, if you guys want Cole Strange to play at least 1 game this season, go on ahead and do one thing for me and hit that like button. If anything happens with Christian Barmore or with Cole Strange on their injury front or anybody else, you guys know we're going to report about it right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports, so subscribe.